an interview with a man named Abdul Aziz ibn Saud. A tribal chieftain from the northeastern corner of Arabia, Ibn Saud called Hussein essentially a trivial and unstable character, and made it clear that neither he nor most other Arabian tribal chieftains would ever accede to his leadership. Even if Hussein took the risky step of declaring himself caliph, the supreme religious political figure in the Islamic world, Ibn Saud argued it would not make any difference to his status among other chiefs, and there would be no question of their accepting any control from him, any more than they do now. To Lawrence, that interview represented a new and potentially very dangerous escalation in the competition between Cairo and Simla. That's because Abdul Aziz ibn Saud was not just another tribal malcontent bent on retaining his autonomy, but Hussein's most formidable rival in all of Arabia, having embraced an extremely austere form of fundamentalist Islam known as Wahhabism. Over the previous 15 years, Ibn Saud had led his desert warriors into battle against one recalcitrant Arab tribe after another with a kind of evangelical zeal. The discipline of the Wahhabists was legendary. In that time, Ibn Saud's reach had expanded from a small string of oasis villages in the Riyadh region to cover a vast expanse of northeastern Arabia. Meanwhile, Ibn Saud was also British India's man in Arabia, with a close relationship going back to before the war. It was bad enough, in Lawrence's estimation, that Simla was using the intelligence bulletin to promote a man with views so antithetical to British values, but the gambit also underscored a situation almost laughably absurd, had it not been so perilous. In their battle for primacy over Arabian policy, two different branches of the British Crown were backing two sworn rivals. Surely that was less a recipe for a successful Arab revolt than for civil war, which of course may have been Simla's true goal all along. In his repose to the Ibn Saud interview, similarly disseminated to the upper reaches of the British government, Lawrence argued that despite posing as Islamic reformists, with all the narrow-minded bigotry of the Puritan, Ibn Saud and his Wahhabists were hardly representative of Islam. Instead, as he warned in The Politics of Mecca, the Wahhabist sect was composed of marginal medievalists, and if it prevailed, we would have in place of the tolerant, rather comfortable Islam of Mecca and Damascus the fanaticism of Najd, intensified and swollen by success. As with many of Lawrence's other predictions, his warning about Ibn Saud and the Wahhabists was ultimately to prove true. In 1923, Ibn Saud would conquer much of the Arabian Peninsula and, to honor his clan, give it the name Saudi Arabia. For the next 90 years, the vast and profligate Saudi royal family would survive by essentially buying off the doctrinaire Wahhabists who had brought them to power, financially subsidizing their activities so long as their disciples directed their jihadist efforts abroad. The most famous product of this arrangement was to be a man named Osama bin Laden.